sort of a drama thriller about a family.
Come on.
And it's about a young girl who lives with her mother, and her father's just died, and then her uncle shows up seemingly out of nowhere.
India, come and say hello to your Uncle Charlie.
He's the brother that they've never gotten to meet, and he has a sort of a story that unfolds through the course of the film, but I think, she doesn't know these things.
He uses Evie. He's there, he can't really stay there unless she is attracted to him, so he manipulates that situation.
In about 60 seconds, your mother's going to tell you that I'm going to be staying here for a while, but I want it to be your decision too.
It's very ambiguous what Uncle Charlie is here for and why. And the story is really about this shifting dynamics between the three of them.
Evie, dear, maybe we could talk about your living here with Charlie like this.
Only Charlie knows for sure what he wants, but I think there's something sinister in the air.
Tus tráilers. Visita mi canal.
Call me.
Well, the thing about Director Park's films, there's always a very visceral, but oftentimes poetic and human piece to all of his movies.
좁은 공간을 하나의 우주로 삼아서 그 안에서 대부분의 이야기가 전개되는 그런 영화를 좋아하기 때문에.
The story brings you back to stories from a different era, maybe from Hitchcock films or these sort of film noir or these real slow-burning mysteries.
What I hope when people see this film is that they have that same experience that I had when I first read the script. Entering this world of this family that appears normal, but something is just slightly off, and increasingly horrified by what are they going to do, what's going to happen, and also not knowing where it's going.
It really is all about keeping us guessing as to what is really going on and who are these people and what are they going to do in this situation.
You were supposed to love me, weren't you?
She's of age.
Of age for what?
You have no idea.
It's sort of a dark, complicated, scary, twisted psychological drama.
What do you want from me?
To be friends.
We don't need to be friends. We're family.
I think we got such an extraordinary cast for this movie for two real reasons. One is the script, and secondly, people, actors like us, the producers, were so excited to be part of Park Chan-wook's English language debut.
I saw you in the dining room today.
I don't know what you think you saw.
I thought the combination of him with this material was really good. And when you say to people who are cinephiles, when you say to them, oh, I'm working with Director Park, everybody knows who he is.
You know, I've often wondered why it is we have children in the first place. Personally speaking, I can't wait to watch life tear you apart.
He's amazing. I've never worked with a director like Director Park. He's a really original filmmaker. It feels like he brought so much to the project.
He's brilliant, he's got an amazing mind and he gets everything across that he needs to, and I say hopefully we've done justice to his vision of the film.
모든 것을 다 설명하려고 드는 그런 각본이 아니기 때문에 뭔가 많은 부분이 의문 상태로 남아서 관객 스스로 대답을 구하도록 유도하는 그 점이 좋았어요. 그래서
It started to work so smoothly from the beginning, really. I never felt like the language was much of an issue.
A lot of the director-actor relationship is through telepathy. I could read him very easily. I knew by the end, when he went, any small sounds or the way his eyes would move, I would understand what that would mean without words.
After a while, I feel like we kind of forgot about it because he has an amazing interpreter, Wonjo, who's just there all the time.
A lot of what I do was making sure there's a good communication going between Director Park and his actors and the rest of the crew.
India, don't be rude.
He's a fascinating man, very, very gentle, yet his filmmaking is obviously very strong, which is always really interesting in an artist, how they present and then what their psyche really is.
Stay away from my daughter.
She's of age.
Of age for
good. I feel like the audience never gets ahead of one of his movies because he'll always pull some trick and the rug gets pulled out from underneath our feet and changes our whole perspective again on what's going on. So that's kind of what's brilliant about his movies.
Aren't you curious about what happened?
Yes.
I think he's a doctor of psychology, and on screen he creates images that are quite sort of exotic and different and so intelligent.
It became such a perfect marriage because it was certainly on the page and it went where script. But then what director Park, I think, saw in this movie and was able to then not only portray what was on the page, but take it that much further. That's one of the things that I'm the most proud of on this whole film, is that director Park really made a Park Chan-wook film in America.
One of my initial questions to director Park was, how stylized are we going? Are we a true Park Chan-wook film? Is it that almost hyper-stylized? Are we pulling back a little? And he really wanted me to push it.
I knew it was going to have to sort of be shot in a quite stylized way, I suppose, and it was always going to be very important about the particular house they got. And I think we were really lucky because sometimes you might be sitting on a studio.
They found a really amazing mansion, which was the perfect setting for the film because it really is another character.
It was really about three people, even though there was a multitude of people coming in and out of their lives, but it really was about these three people, kind of trapped in this one location.
When you put them in the context of this house, you look at it and it's like, this is really a director Park film.
It's almost like a theater set, and the tone being incredibly timeless and very stylized in its own way, but not so much that it takes away from what you want to concentrate on, which are our key actors.
It really has a timeless feel, and a lot of that comes from the production design.
tráilers.
Therese is
Visita mi
amazing, our
canal.
production designer, and also the costumes, and there's so many elements that really sort of lend itself to the out-of-time feel.
그래서 글자 그대로 성에 갇힌 공주, 왕비의 느낌을 이비와 인디아에게 부여하고 싶었죠.
The way that he shoots things is so brilliant, and he's so open to everybody's ideas, which I think is so great because so many people don't do that, and he sort of then gets the best things from everyone.
Good. Action.
He's such a visual director and everything is so stylized. In a lot of respects, he's so specific about certain things, but he's also completely open to ideas, which is great.
He's best at making connections and finding these moments that sort of mirror each other later on in the script.
He had this idea for India, that India was basically this young chick, this bird coming out of her shell.
We often talked about the house as an unraveling nest, and that our characters are caught in this diorama of a house.
He has all this kind of wonderful imagery that wasn't initially in the script, and that's what he brings to it, is a very strong vision.
I think what's most exciting for Park Chan-wook fans, there's a certain look to all those other movies, and I think the elements that we all love from Park Chan-wook are very much in this movie.
I was actively pursuing films or filmmakers with different sensibilities. I was looking for directors or films that, you know, would maybe be coming at it from a different viewpoint, maybe not so interested in the commercial aspects of the film, but more interested in the artistic side of it, I suppose, the project itself, you know.
Clint's music has a sense of classicism about it. It also holds that elegance and beauty of classical music. What he also does in his music is to combine it with the strength and the energy that you would expect and hear from the modern pop music.
It essentially comes down to listening to what the director's looking for, and I kind of just jam to the picture, you know. I start looking for sounds or progressions or melodies or just certain instruments that just feel like they stick to the picture, you know. They just feel like they're at one with it, you know. And that might just, like I say, start out from the simplest sound that just feels like it was made for the film, you know. And once you start getting that and you tune your senses to it, you kind of then begin to know what the film needs.
It is only when you consider the soundscape and the visuals as being one body will you be able to escalate and have the synergizing effect.
I thought it could be a nightmare, you know, not being able to communicate sort of in language. He can make the finest of changes to it and elevate it this much. You know, it's like, yeah, even if it's just shift the cue a little or take out that element or just push that element. So working with a director that really knows his stuff and knows what he's looking for, it's been one of the smoothest flowing projects I've worked on, I think.
Personally speaking, I can't wait to watch life tear you apart. And you, who are you?